Sally is still creating problems as the river's crested today. We go now to our affiliate reporter, Erika Stanish, near the Blackwater River.
This area is completely flooded here, and the farther back that you go, the deeper it gets. And check out this home right over here. This is just one home that has been impacted by the storm. You can actually see just how high the water is there at the fence line. I was talking to a man who lives just right around the corner here, and he tells me his home is flooded and full of water, but it's still not enough to make him leave.
Got 3 foot of water going through my house right now.
Video taken by Tom Wilson shows rushing water forcing its way through his home Thursday.
Hey, this is Hurricane Sally. Still showing her strength.
2 days after Hurricane Sally made landfall, Wilson is far from a state of panic.
Blackwater River, we're having fun over here.
Accepting that the storm surge Wednesday was likely only the beginning of his problems.
Next morning, the water level went down. I was so glad I could see grass in my backyard. And then the rivers up north started flooding, all the Baker River and everything crested and started coming this way. And the water actually came back up higher than the surge.
Rising water from Blackwater River and Coldwater Creek, now the biggest threat for Wilson and his neighbors. But he refuses to leave.
I mean, right now I've got water that is 12 inches below my electric box. I still run my air conditioner. I stayed in the house last night and watched YouTube all night.
He says he plans to wait for the water to recede.
The computer's still above water, thank goodness.
Assess the damage.
That's my recliner.
Then work to rebuild.
I can swim good. I float good. This is life. You know, every day is given to you. Make the most of it.
Most everyone in this community have their heads held up high right now. They're taking care of each other, making sure they have what they need. I've seen so many people in this area taking boats to get to one end to another. It doesn't matter what direction they go, just to check on their neighbor and make sure they're okay. They say it's going to be a long time before all of this is cleaned up, but they are here for each other and are waiting for a better day. Back to you.
Water rescue teams in Milton today, they were checking on families. And flooding has become a major issue there in some of the areas. And that's where we find Erika Stanish live tonight near the Blackwater River.
Santa Rosa officials tell me the water could continue to rise, and in some areas it's deeper than 10 feet. Right here is Airport Road, but all day we've seen residents here traveling by boat down this way to be able to get to one end to the other or where they need to go. And that's the same thing rescue crews did today, going to houses in this area to check on families who decided to stay home to make sure they're okay. The National Guard, Florida Task Force 3, and the Fish and Wildlife Commission checking in on residents off North Airport Road Friday in Milton. There, the water continues to rise from the impact of Hurricane Sally.
That's just 2 of you there?
The water that we traveled over with the teams, mostly we were going up and down roads.
Santa Rosa officials say the water is over 10 feet deep in some areas, leaving some residents who decided to stay surrounded by water.
It looks like my house is in the middle of a lake. It is, I have been completely surrounded by water for the last 2 days.
Rescue teams checked on Donna Tucker Friday morning, who's inside her home with her husband and 2 dogs.
This one caught a lot of us off guard. And the house on the river that we currently live in, we've been in here for 5 years.
She says the water is about 3 feet high under her house right now.
We've got a half-acre fenced in, and portions of the fence I see are gone. My picnic table's floating in the next door neighbor's yard. There's just no telling where anything is.
She says she plans to ride it out, but will be watching the water closely in case it continues to rise. Officials tell me there is a shelter set up at the Milton Community Center that's going to be open 24/7 off Byron Street. They say it is pet friendly for anyone who needs help can go to. In the meantime, I'll have much more on what's happening here coming up at 5 o'clock.
Are now connected to the storm. Right now, hundreds of thousands are without power. Fox 25's Erika Stanish is live tonight in Pensacola with a look at how people there are coping. Erika.
What has been a day full of cleanup, but one area that hasn't been touched yet is right here behind me. Take a look. There are two power line poles just snapped in half. You can see cables and wires just scattered across the roadway, leaving drivers to navigate this on their own, because I can tell you the cones that you can see right over here were just placed within the last 10 minutes whenever survey crews came out and realized what a traffic jam this has been causing. And if you take a look down over here, I had a restaurant owner tell me that the power line pole that you see right there was standing upright, but the cables were lowered last night, and because of that, drivers could not see, and they smashed right into that pole, snapping it in half, bringing down the cables and wires with it, and leaving just a mess again for drivers to get around here. This has really been a problem for drivers and even emergency vehicles trying to get through, some even leading into oncoming traffic. So a very dangerous scene. Beyond the damage here, though, trees are down. Some have fallen onto people's homes. If you check out my Twitter page, you can see a tree just landed right on top of a home and fell inside. Cell phone service has also been spotty all day, creating challenges for both residents and emergency workers trying to get around. Many tell me they really weren't prepared for this storm. They say they didn't have a generator ready, they didn't have bottles of water, and the biggest fight has been at the gas station. We have seen hundreds of cars lined up, some for over 30 minutes to an hour, trying to get gas here and even fighting over it. Others have been involved in road rage incidents, some of them actually that happened right here behind me when we were here earlier today. I assume over what is happening here, and two ladies and drivers were just going, they were arguing with each other. They were upset. It's a very stressful situation here, but I can tell you that the power company has announced that they are working 24/7 to get this cleaned up. They want to restore power. The latest information I have gotten is about 200,000 still without power. So you can take a look behind me. You can see those survey workers actually just showing up again, making a decision to see what they need to do here to get this cleaned up and that power restored. We're going to bring you another update coming up here on the Primetime News at 9, so be sure to join us then. But for now, in Pensacola, Florida, I'm Erika Stanish.